Hey friends, welcome back to another video. Now in today's video, I wanted to share with you our simple gift system. And the reason for it is because I get so many questions on how we actually handle our Christmas gifts, but also why did we actually choose to get only 4 gifts? So that is what I wanted to talk about today. Now, if you are interested in all the gifts that we get our children, I actually have a video coming up with what we got our kids for Christmas, which is probably gonna go up next week. But if it's up, I will link it down below. And if it's not up yet, there's your reason to subscribe to my channel. So feel free to do that. But let's dive into our simple gift system. Okay, so for those that are new here, welcome. My name is Stephanie and we have 3 children. We have a son that is turning 9 just 2 days before Christmas. We have a daughter that is 6.5 years old and we have a son that is 3.5 years old. So those are the ones that we buy our gifts for. And what we use as a system is kind of a very well-known system, I would say. And that is something they want, something they need, something to do, something to read. Now we adapted it from the original, or at least I think that is the original. I'm not really sure. But I think that instead of the do category, there actually is a wear category. And the reason we decided not to do the wear category is because I don't really like to have underwear or socks under the tree, and pajamas and a new sweater, new jeans, all those things is something they would get anyway. So I'm not really interested in making that a Christmas gift. So what I decided to do is turn it into a do gift, something creative that they can actually use throughout the year. So we turned it into those 4 categories. So the first category is something they want, and that is kind of obvious. The children will just find all the things that they want to have, give us a list, and we choose something that we want to give them. And that obviously is within our budget. Our Lego loving son gave us all the big boxes that are like $200 or something. That is not what he gets. So we pick and choose something that is within our budget and that we actually want to give them. But that is just something they want. So that is something that they specifically told us that they want to get. Now, something they need is a little different. For the need gift, I don't want to give them toothbrushes. So we find something that they actually really need. So that could be the jewelry box that our daughter gets, or the Bible that our son gets, and our youngest will actually get new Play-Doh because he loves to play with Play-Doh, but it is all turned rock solid. So that is something that he actually needs to get. So basically our something they need category is something that they need, obviously, but also something that is actually fun to get. Then the third category is something to do. Now, something to do is actually just anything that is creative. So it can basically be almost anything that has them use their hands. And that is just something that I think is important. I want our children to actually be creative, to use their hands, to really do things that are fun instead of watching TV or doing games on a computer. And we don't really do that because we are a screen-free family, but still, I really want them to focus on, okay, if we don't use a screen, what else can you do? So I need to actually facilitate that. And that is one of the reasons why I decided to go with something to do, because I really want them to have options when they are bored or when they don't know what to do. Then I can actually point them towards something to do. So that is why I love to give that under the tree. And so they get things that they can do. So stickers, Play-Doh, paint, whatever it is, something that they use their hands for. So something to do is just because I want to encourage being creative. And then the fourth category is something to read. And this is actually kind of obvious, but I chose something to read and I really wanted to focus on this one because I think it is extremely important for our children, for their imagination and for their creativity to read a ton. So what I love is to purchase books, and I am a lover of books. I love buying books. I don't read them as often as I should, but I love buying them. So I love doing this. I love finding the great books. And what I want is to find books that they love at this age that they can read themselves, or at least the oldest 2 can, and just something that they really want to read. So not just a book that we need for schoolwork, for example. No, something that they are actually going to enjoy to read in their free time. Okay, so those are the 4 categories, but now you might wonder, okay, why do you actually use these categories? Why don't you just buy everything that you want to buy? Well, there are 3 main reasons for this, and I want to share with you why we do this. So we have done this for over 8 years now, at least when our son was born. The first year we did this, obviously he wasn't as present, so to speak, for his gifts. But ever since they knew that they were going to get gifts, we really made sure that this was the system we use. And there are 3 reasons we do this. And the first reason is that I want to make sure that this season is really about Christ and not about the gifts, not about what they get. I really want them to focus on what is the reason for the season. So I don't want to go overboard and have an entire home filled with gifts. No, I want them to have the reason for the season first and foremost. So we do a lot about Advent, we read the Bible, we read Christmas stories, we have the nativity scene here, and it's just focused on Jesus more than it is on the gifts. And I keep telling the children that, yes, it's super fun to get gifts and there's nothing wrong with getting gifts, but I don't want that to be the focus of Christmas. So that is why I really want to keep it narrowed down to just 4 gifts, which is already quite a bit. There are many children that don't even get 4 gifts. So I don't ever want to have anybody think that 4 gifts is sad for our children, because it's not. They are amazing. They love the gifts that they get. It is super fun, but it's not about the gifts. It's about Jesus and his birth, and that their Savior was born during Christmas time. That is what I want them to focus on, not the gifts. Now, the second reason is our budget. Now, this is not the main reason that we started this, but it's still a very important reason to do this, because you don't want to go over budget. And I actually did a video about this, which I will also link down below, about how you can stay within your budget. This is one of the main ways that you can stay within budget, because the gifts can get out of hand very easily. I see it so many times online. Some people really go crazy when it comes to Christmas gifts. So budgeting is actually a big part of having this system, because it is not necessary to spend a ton of money on Christmas gifts. Firstly, because, like I said, they don't need that many gifts, but also I don't want to go over budget, and I don't want to have to eat an extreme food budget for 3, 4, 5 months because I bought too many gifts. So staying within budget is way easier when you have this system. And then lastly, one of the main reasons that we decided to do this system, other than the reason for the season, is because of overwhelm. I have seen so many YouTube videos in the past where it was the Christmas special, you know, when the daily vloggers were doing their thing, and they had so many Christmas specials where it was just nuts. Every time I looked at it, I would get overwhelmed with all the gifts, and I can only imagine what those children must have been feeling. Those were children that were 4, sometimes even younger, 4 years old. They would walk into the room on Christmas morning and there would be, no joke, 20, 30 gifts for them. And the only thing they did is they open it up, they looked at it, they put it aside and get another gift, open it up. And all they do was open it up, and they really forgot what they got, what their first gift was, because there were so many gifts that they couldn't even see what they had right in front of them, because there was just too much going on in their mind. And I've actually talked about overwhelm and having too many things for your children quite a bit. And I actually also wrote a blog post about it, which I will also link down below. But children can easily get overwhelmed. And if you have every single toy in the room and your children will see all those toys, a lot of times they will just kind of shut down and don't know what to play with. And they can still say, with an entire box filled with toys, they can still say, I'm bored. And not because they don't have anything to do, but just because they are so overwhelmed with what they see right in front of them that they don't know what to do. It's basically the same for us. And I talked about this in my last video, but it's basically the same for us when we talk about having a very big to-do list. Having that massive to-do list can actually create so much overwhelm in our mind, because we see this huge list of things that we need to do. We don't know where to start, and we just kind of go blank and we don't know what to do. And that is what I talked about in the overwhelm video for mothers or for us as parents, but it's also valid for children. Children can get overwhelmed so easily. You don't want to overwhelm them with too many gifts. So if you only give them 4 gifts, which again, it's not only 4 gifts, it's still they get 4 gifts, which is more than some people get. But if they get 4 gifts that they absolutely love, there's nothing wrong with that. So make sure you don't put yourself into debt, that you don't go overboard with it, because usually it doesn't benefit you and it doesn't really benefit your children any either. So I just wanted to put that out there, because I really do believe that a lot of people go way overboard when it comes to Christmas gifts, and I don't really want to do that. What we've decided to do actually, which is a side note, for our youngest, for example, we have 2 gifts that are part of his want category. We keep a budget for every category, and he could get 2 gifts in his category. And what I decide to do is I am going to wrap this together. So on Christmas morning, they all get 4 gifts. And his want gift will consist of 2 parts, but it's still 1 want gift, 1 need gift, and so on and so forth. So I don't want to have Christmas morning being about how many gifts that you get. You got more than I did. That is not what I want to do. Everybody gets a want, everybody gets a need, everybody gets to do, and everybody gets to read. And then some of the want gifts are 2 parts and some of them are just 1 part. So it's mainly just because I don't want to have one child opening up 10 gifts on Christmas morning and the other one 4. I don't really want to have that. So yes, some of them will have more gifts technically, but they all get just 1 category, if that makes sense. So anyway, that is our simple gift system. And like I said, I have loved using this. We've done it for years now. The children love it. They know what the season is about, which is the most important thing. So I really want to encourage you, try the system. And if you are done Christmas shopping already, then do it next year. But I really want to encourage you, don't overspend, don't buy too many gifts, and focus on what the season is really about, which is not the gifts. So I hope this was helpful to you, that you're going to use this system as well. And I'm curious what you got your kids for Christmas. And if you have any children in the same age group as I have, please let me know down below, because we are starting to get to the point where I don't always know what to get the kids. So whatever you got your kids that you think they will love, let me know down below so I can maybe use it next year. And if you want to know what we got our kids this year, again, that video is coming out next week, so stay tuned for that. And I would love to see you in my next video.